In this video, I'm going to run you through my pricing structure that I use with coaching offers that I'm finding working really, really well. So I started in the coaching space around 2018, really got into it in 2019, did my first 100,000 in cash collected in, I think it was 6 to 8 months in 2019 when I first launched a new offer. And then I changed up that offer and I did it again in 2020 in a new business, and then again in 2022 or 3. And then we built another consulting business to $1 million around that time as well. And so I've done it 4 or 5 times at this point with different offers, different niches, etc. And along the way, I've learned from a lot of mentors, and I've learned from a lot of content I've consumed and books I've read and personal experience and working with clients. And I'm going to give you a bit of a timeline around like how effective pricing for what you do. Now, when I started out, it was like you should have a program that's $297 to like $1997 or whatever, and you sell it by an automated webinar. And it was the dream. You run ads, people come to this automated webinar, they buy your stuff. And then people started realizing that there was a lot of operational overheads and a lot of work. And then people went into high ticket and they said, oh man, no, don't do that. Sell 3 to 10K programs over the phone, pay in fulls on the phone, etc. And then it became a bit of a dick measuring competition of how much you could charge and how much you could get people to pay up front. And then people realized, well, hang on, we're getting a lot of people that would love to do it, but they can't afford to do it. So let's do split pay. So we'll do like a 3-pay, 5-pay, etc. And then people started having a lot of attrition, and they weren't collecting on it. So they stopped talking about like cash months, and they started talking about revenue months. I did $1 million in revenue. I did, $100,000 in revenue. When really it was just contracted revenue. It was sales, but it wasn't cash. These businesses were doing, I'm doing a 6-figure business, 7-figure business. But the reality is they had very poor cash flow. And so then people started getting into finance. Now, I've been in business since 2013, and there's business and then there's like online business. And at the time when I got started, it was the coaching bros and consultants, and there's still a bit of that these days, where they don't understand the basic principles of business, and they're just following what the next guru said, and everyone's just kind of regurgitating the same stuff. And so fast forward to 2024, now into 2025, I'm realizing by watching this myself and what I did, and I can only speak from my experience, watching my mentors, learning from people, is realizing that there's 2 things to focus on with pricing. One is I want to maximize my cash flow. Cash flow is king in a business. If I'm waiting to make sales for $5,000 in a program, and if I don't make a sale, I can't pay myself or I can't pay my staff. And every month I'm starting fresh and I'm hustling my face off to get sales. That sucks, right? The high ticket business model in that regard sucks. It's good profits when it works, but if your marketing breaks or whatever, you've got no recurring revenue, you're just hustling with your sales, it's stressful. I've done that, it sucks. And on the other side is like, I want to make cash, and the other side is I want to get customers. Now, most coaches struggle with retaining their clients and delivering enough value that a person would continue to pay them. And so they tend to sell a program and then they don't know what to do afterwards. And so I learned this idea from some things that I learned from Alex Hormozy and Dan Bolton and James Kemp and some others, some people I've worked with over the years. And I took that and I took what I was doing and I came up with this concept of a dynamic offer. Now, a dynamic offer is one that is a core deliverable, like you get this outcome for people, but you deliver it dynamically over a dynamic time period with dynamic levels of access to you with dynamic pricing. And so all this is just fancy words to say, I'm clear on what I do and who I do it for, but I'm going to price it and deliver it based on the needs of the client. And so for us, we effectively have three levels. We have a community level where you get access to content and workshops, and you can do it on your own with a bit of training from us. It's lower priced. It's optimized for people who can't afford to be in the higher level programs or don't want to be. The second level is everything that I just said plus coaching. So now, not only do you have the community and the trainings and the workshops and stuff like that, you also have our team's help in coaching you and keeping you accountable and working with you. You pay more for that. And thirdly, we have an inner circle, which is direct private consulting access to myself and Delcy and our leadership team. In that, you get everything. You get the training, you get the workshops, you get the community, you get the coaching and the accountability that comes with that. But then you get direct consulting and mentorship from us. But it's the same program. It's just being dynamically delivered based off of where you want to fall in, or where you can afford to fall in, or what is available, because we don't open up everything all the time. So we limit things, because I want to be in the snow with my kids. I don't want to be always on calls coaching people. Now, we're dynamically delivering that at a dynamic price. So you can move through the levels. We have some restrictions, but effectively you can move through the levels. It's also dynamic in its timeline, because you might be somebody who implements really quickly, or you might be somebody who implements really slowly, or you might be somebody who needs to repeat things, or you might be somebody who we solve the first problem and then there's a second and a third and a fourth. And so what I do is I have a large promise that's out here. I'm going to show you how to build a 50 to 100K a month profit online coaching business. You could be a coach now with an offer, online or offline, and you're wanting to grow or scale it. Or you could be an expert and you don't have an offer, but you want to build one. And so we can slot you in and work with either of those groups of people, that continuum, and we can move them towards that goal. Some people are at 100K a month, but they only keep 10. Some are at 10, but they keep 8. And they've got different problems on different ends of the continuum. It's dynamic. The core is still there though. And the support is based on the level and the tier that you want to be slotted into. So what does this mean in terms of pricing? Well, I want recurring revenue. I don't want to be fighting for a paycheck each month. I travel full-time with my wife and 2 kids, and our educator and nanny comes with us. I want to be in cool locations doing cool stuff. So I need to know that I'm going to have a consistent amount of income. I also want to optimize for high cash flow. And to do that, we're doing 2 things. The first is we're having a high price point per customer. And the second is we're having a low payment plan for that customer so that people can start. Because I want to optimize for client volume. If I have one client giving me $100,000 a month, amazing, I don't have any work to do. But if they leave, my business is dead. And there's so many standard old school businesses that went bust because they were working for, I don't know, what's a shop that disappeared? Blockbuster. The guy who made cassette tapes or videotapes or whatever for Blockbuster went under when Blockbuster went under, right? Because they had one big customer. You don't want that in your business. You want to have lots of customers, lots of clients, because then if one leaves, it doesn't affect you so much. The downside to having lots of customers is more work. So with a dynamic offer, when people can just slot into those 3 levels, you're only delivering high touch for people who are paying you for high touch, but you've still got a lot of customers overall, so you have a lot of recurring revenue, a lot of cash flow, and it allows you to ascend those people through the levels as they want more access. For example, let's say you come to me and you say, James, I want to build an offer, but I got not much money, and I put you into, but you are somebody who's willing and able to do the work yourself and you're driven. I might say, come in, look, there's spots open in the community, join the community, you'll still have access to us through workshops, but you're going to mostly do it on your own. Now, as you start to make some money, you say, this is going great, but I want to go faster. I want this to be easier. And I've got some problems that I haven't been able to figure out the solutions to. I want to know what you think I should do. So I say, great, come into the collective, be part of the coaching group. Be part of a higher level group of people doing high level stuff with more direct accountability to us. And then you're maybe in that and you're thinking to yourself, this is great, but I want to go faster. I've got bigger problems now. I want to know what James would do, not what James is coaching me on, because there's a difference between coaching and mentoring. Coaching is helping you to figure out what to do. Mentoring is telling you what I would do and what I think you should do. And so you say to yourself, you know what? I want to do that. There's a spot open, you come into it. And so I've dynamically delivered the same core program to you at different stages of your progression, at different price points and different timelines. That's a dynamic offer. That's a pricing structure and an offer model that allows you to have high recurring revenue, high client value, because clients stick around for a long time in that model. You're monetizing them effectively, but you're able to price yourself in a way that gets a lot of people to say yes. And so our prices vary from $200 a week to $1,000+ a week, so that people can slot in where it makes sense to them. I'm able to operate as a business because this is not a charity. I love you guys, but like, I want to make money and live my life. You want to make money and live your life. You want to have a good business too. So you have to make sure the economics make sense for you. You also have to make sure the economics make sense to your client, because I'd rather have a client paying me a little bit less but paying me for longer, because I will make more money than I will a client paying me a lot of money in a short period of time. Other than measuring dicks. Excuse my language, it's a phrase in New Zealand that we say, dick measuring, right? It's where the guys go around and say, mine's bigger than yours, I'm better than you, right? Put your dick away, focus on cash collected per client overall, and you'll make more money and you'll have a happier life than trying to focus on how much you can get over a short period of time, because I will beat you in the race of life. I will have a better lifestyle, I will have more free time, I will enjoy myself, I'll have less grey hairs, less stress, less health problems, and probably a better bank account than trying to squeeze the juice out of the lemon at the start. So I hope I haven't rambled too much in this video. To summarize, you want to have a dynamic offer. You want to have pricing that optimizes for a volume of clients, recurring revenue, and allows you to ascend them into higher price points, but overall you're still getting your 15K, your 10K for your program. It's just spread, and so the payment schedule's lower for the client, so it's economically available to them, it's economically available to you. You can stack clients, you can stack cash flow, you can stack results, but you can do it in a way that means that only people paying you a lot of money are getting access to a lot of your time, so that your time remains valuable and you can go and spend it on the stuff that matters. And for me, that's going home, because it's cold right now and my fingers are starting to hurt. So I'll see you in the next video.